Got like Carl Palmer kicking. All right, 7:35 in the morning. Joe Higgins, Christy Simone. Remember, deflation fever?
Yeah.
Catch it.
Just read it, guys. All I want you to do is do some homework.
Good morning to Pima County Supervisor Allie Miller. Allie, we're going to spend the next 24 minutes talking about the effects of deflation. Are you ready?
I'm already totally deflated after listening to Joe.
Monetary policy and a global economy. Those are your conversations.
Yeah, that was pretty depressing.
Well, we didn't have Mark Stegman, and he's an economist, so I'm trying to fill in for Mark. Trying to go deep in economy.
Okay, so Mark was going to do something besides deflation.
Apparently.
Actually, tomorrow we have a whole deflation segment. It will be brought to you by Sleep America.
Okay.
Japan is 20 years. Yeah, you guys laugh. Japan has been in 20 years of deflation because of demographic bubbles and stuff.
Yeah.
You laugh, but you wait.
Kevin Lehman did call up off.
Laughing.
Yeah. Dr. Kevin did call up. He's in the show tomorrow, but he said, Joe, if you feel deflated, there's pills for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll go down to Mexico.
Very much.
Being a Aurora Valley councilman. So, Allie, what is going on in the world of Pima County? We've been covering these stadiums. We've been covering, land things. Where would you like to talk about today?
Can we start with this?
I guess we could start with the Catalina development.
Uh-oh. Okay. We're going right for the hot tamale.
Yeah, well, it's 12 houses. It was going to bring jobs. It was unanimously approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission. The staff at Pima County approved it and recommended it, and there was zero
neighborhood opposition.
Neighborhood opposition. It was, it was a great thing for the community of Catalina, as we know. They need development out there, and it was going to bring jobs.
But Allie, I feel a butt coming on. Chris, maybe you can give us the backstory on the butt.
Well, there's no butt here. Everything went great.
Yeah, right. It's not happening. Right.
You are correct.
And it was in the paper.
I will tell you that, one of the questions that came up, of course, is that according to Ray Carroll, I can't believe I'm even saying this, you were not there the previous meeting because you were sick.
The first meeting I've missed.
All right. As a courtesy to you, because he loves you so much,
I know,
he voted yes, so you could be there to preside over the zoning decision.
Yes.
Then, as you were, quote, presiding over the zoning decision, he decides to leave the dais with two of the other no votes.
Yeah, it was.
So 1, 2, 3, there's 5. Isn't that a quorum?
That's a quorum,
okay.
Which was not during a public meeting, not in the public site or earshot.
Maybe they all went different directions back there.
Sure they did.
Okay.
Yeah, there were 3 people that got up. One of them told me he didn't go behind the wall, but I didn't see. It is on video, and I did have the nerve. I went so far as to put the YouTube of the video up so people could see what goes on in these meetings, and then they came back and they voted no. After Ray had voted yes, he changed his vote to no, and then, as you saw the follow-up article later by Joe Ferguson, there were all kinds of excuses for why he didn't vote.
Oh, he was a big loopholer, that guy.
The loopholes, the murky and invalid cluster development, et cetera, poor road conditions. Where aren't there poor road conditions in Pima County? Are we going to stop all development because
he's presided over bad road conditions for 20 years?
Yeah, exactly. And so when I'm reading this, and I'm just absolutely amazed, he had absolutely no comment in the meeting other than no. Wouldn't you think he'd want to explain that developers' representatives are there? This is why I'm voting no. But no.
So, Chris, what's really at play here? What is the backstory as to why?
Are we really going to do this vaudeville act? There's this lady, I don't know if you heard her name's Allie Miller. Ray can't stand her. That's why he voted no. That's why he plays all the games. Sad to say. So heel girl, heel.
And who loses out? The folks in Catalina because of value.
The people of Pima County lose out because Chuck had just put out a memo that our tax base has shrunk 16% since 2010. And this would have been an opportunity to expand our tax base, get more homes on the tax rolls, get some jobs, Ray. Mm-hmm. And no, let's play games and let's play petty little games. As far as I know, I don't think I've ever voted against any projects in Ray's district. I don't play those games. If it's a good project, it gets approved. And it's the Pima County taxpayers we should be concerned about, not personal vendors. I understand, could possibly be something with a developer as well. I don't know what all the issues are, but all I know is that 3 of the people on that board voted no, and they really hurt Pima County.
Well, and of course, the thing that was missing in the article, which there's many things missing from any Joe Ferguson article, unless it's a fluff piece about Chuck Huckleberry, is that, one, ask the other 2 why they voted no.
Right.
Ask Sharon Bronson, the chairwoman, why she voted yes.
Twice.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. And why wasn't she concerned with Ray's magic loophole? And 2, please show us any kind of communication between Ray and staff about the dreaded loophole.
Yeah.
And contrast
there was
that.
Nothing in the background, and he presented nothing in the meeting. The staff presented nothing in the meeting about any of these loopholes or any issues with the existing code that would cause, because it was a cluster development. They actually encourage cluster developments because they end up with more open space for the people that live in the neighborhood. So that's kind of one of the bases for cluster developments, and we do cluster developments all the time.
We do a lot of clustering over
there. It was 12 homes.
Thank you, Joey.
So
we do a lot of clustering.
Let's contrast that with Sabino Canyon and Cloud, which was a piece of dirt in the middle of that area. Tremendous neighborhood opposition.
This is in Ray's district.
Yeah.
Tremendous opposition.
Right. You had also zoning. How did planning and zoning come in on that one?
Planning and zoning recommended approval with conditions. I've got to go back and look at that. That is coming back. They did the comp plan amendment, but it now will be coming back for final planning and zoning approval.
And the issue was it was really, really small lots and a lot of houses on the property, right?
And there's a ton of neighborhood opposition on those. And
so how many houses per acre at Sabino Canyon?
They have the ability to do, I think it's up to 18, 19 rack. That's residents per acre. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's going to be roughly 100.
And this one in Catalina was?
12.
Okay.
12 single-family residences. There were condos across the street. It blended perfectly with the area.
So, Chris, why does one go through and the other not?
Well,
the other one isn't passed yet. The other one still has to go through planning and zoning. They got the comp plan amendment done, but the planning and zoning still has to go through.
All right, we'll have to watch that one very closely.
Yes, we will. But end of the day, that the rationale that was listed in the paper was after the fact. It was cover your butt. And in my opinion, as I looked at this, and if you can't come out and state your rationale for why you're voting against something in a meeting, then you haven't properly prepared and you don't have your answer. And this covering after the fact is just petty, and it hurt the residents of Pima County, which is most disturbing to me, is that we had an opportunity to create some jobs for people all over Pima County. This isn't just District 1. It hurt people, construction workers, all over Pima County, because this would have been 12 homes. It would have been getting built. And the reason that this didn't take place sooner is the developer, the economy went south and he had an opportunity to get this moving. And so he finally was able to get the funding and get things. And then this is the other thing. This man invested a lot of money getting it to this phase where you get ready to approve for rezoning. It is a tremendous amount of money. So not only are we sending the message up to the large developers, now we're telling the small developers, well, if you want to build 12 homes, you might invest a whole lot of money and get burned.
And the developer actually is, the developer's Alberto Moore, and he's one of the newly reconstituted Rio Nuevo board members, and there may be some conflicts between the old board and the new board, and politics going back behind that as well. So there's multiple levels to the story. But ultimately, I think what you have to say is what's best for the region, what's best for the neighborhoods in Catalina, and what's best for the county in general. And that's
Allie, how many more years do you have to be as a supervisor?
Pardon me?
How many more years you got to go as a supervisor?
I had 3 more years.
Oh, it's going to get worse than this.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. We're ready for it.
I was gonna say, are we expecting this crew to kind of like get classy and chill out? Heck no.
No, I don't think so.
All right, we got to get pay bills. We're going to talk about I want to talk about a baseball stadium when we get back.
Okay.
And anything else that you are currently working on. If you have a question for Allie Miller, 790-2040 is the phone number. You're on the Wake Up Tucson show. Joe, it's Steve Perry's birthday today.
Well, happy birthday, Mr. Perry.
65.
All right.
Wow, he can get a better check for his Social Security. He didn't go for the 62. So, Wake Up Tucson, 10:30 The Voice.
You can't believe everything you read, but you can believe Wake Up Tucson. Morning 6 to 8 on AM 1030 KVOI. The Voice. Wake Up Tucson with Joe Higgins and Christy Simone on 1030 KVOI. The Voice.
All right, 790-2040 is the number. Steve Perry's 65th birthday. He was unceremoniously dumped, 10, 15 years ago and replaced by a guy with a set of pipes from the Philippines, Joe.
Nice.
So I got a guy from the Philippines who's going to replace you one day.
I can hope
watch
so.
out.
I can hope so. Hope he's as smart at facts and figures as I am. I hope he knows what deflation is.
Well, I was going to say, one of the things on the posting I put on Craigslist is no deflation. Let's go back to Allie Miller. Allie, good morning.
Good morning.
So we had a little fun yesterday with Joe Ferguson and his horrendous reporting and bad math on the stadium thing.
Yeah, that one really blew me away.
I mean, he said that the stadium brought in $8.5 million of revenue and bed taxes and car rental tax, and, of course, it brought in a subsidy from the general fund.
Yeah, the subsidy from the general fund was amazing.
It's kind of like Joe has a business that lost $150,000, and it said, I brought in $150,000 from Joe's personal checkbook.
And that is not too far from the truth. This last 4 years, it's been that, man.
Well, what was interesting is he said they brought in $85 million. And we called up, I had one of my staffers call the folks over at Visit Tucson. It said Visit Tucson estimated that the impact was $85 million. And I went, wait a minute, the Gem Show doesn't even bring in that much. There must be something going on out there that I don't know about. So they called up Visit Tucson, and they said that Visit Tucson is seeking to have this article corrected because they said it was $8.5 million.
Yeah, we were just talking about the role. Each baseball team was $10 million, right, when we had spring training. So 3 baseball teams with $30 million economic impact. How can they get to 85?
And that's with having the stadium full every day for spring training with a lot of out-of-towners.
Right.
Now,
And we originally paid $38 million for this stadium back in 1997, and I'm sure you remember the big dust-up over where it was going to be located.
Sure.
And they located it down in South Tucson, and we still owe $10 million on this stadium. And I just got a memo from Chuck yesterday, and on one of the pages he goes, it's a 25-page memo, his usual memos like that, but it says the Keno Sports Complex is located in a medically underserved and high-stress defined location within the community. It was then, and it is now. Do you really think you're going to get people down there to go to a baseball game? And I looked back. I was looking up some articles on what happened back then, and there's a gentleman named Mike Fetter, who was the owner of the Tucson Padres.
Well, he was the general manager.
General manager, yes. And he said the reason it failed is because they put this in the wrong location. It should have been in downtown Tucson where everyone wanted it. And I wasn't privy to the discussions or why it ended up in South Tucson, but this is the reason that it failed.
Let me offer you a little more meat on that bone. When Mike was on the show in September, just by pure serendipity, Chuck wrote an op-ed in the paper that said, "Oh, let's just forget about this. The legends of the past. We were never going to put the baseball field downtown." Remember he said that?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
Mike was on the air and he said, "I'm sorry, dude. I was in the room. I've seen the plans. Sturts has seen the plans. We've all, that it was supposed to be downtown where the federal courthouse is sitting right now."
Yeah, and Mike is the guy who has been involved in baseball forever. who has the insight, who has the knowledge, who knew that this was going to fail if we didn't put it downtown. And did we listen to him? No.
Yep.
And so we ended up putting it down there. It's failed, and now we're stuck with a lemon.
I just got a tweet from the Wake Up Tucson archive department. We've done 78 shows about the location of the baseball stadium.
So it'd be interesting to see once that last $10 million is paid off, where that bed tax dollars, those RV taxes, do they get given back to the RVers? Do they get shifted to something else? Is another massive project? The Sports and Tourism Authority, are they weighing in on that? What happens when it's over? That would be the
right
next
now
question.
what they're doing is they're ongoing. The general fund support is $2.2 million right now. And they're talking about baseball. They've got to maintain that stadium, and now Chuck wants a permanent general fund support of $1.5 million per year. And that isn't even going to cover what he's got outlined for maintenance this year. In 2013-14, he's got $2.2 million. So we're going to continue funding this, and they're talking about bringing in, more local youth sports and that kind of thing, but that is not going to pay for that stadium.
That's kind of chump change compared to its neighbor over there at Keno Hospital, which was $125 million over 10 years. We burned through that in 5.5. We've been pumping in $23 to $25 million from the general fund into the hospital over there. Is that still going on? Is that tapering down? Have you heard anything about that one?
That is not tapering down. We've subsidized them $15 million per year.
Remember, we're medically underserved. She just said it.
And this is for graduate medical education. That's correct. Yeah, medically underserved. We gave them a $48 million hospital for $100 a year lease. And last year we had a surplus from at the end of the year, and we gave them an additional $15 million. So we gave them $30 million. And this is for the residents graduating from medical school. It's for their ongoing education.
Well, let me
the county be in the hospital?
Well, before we go, let me just give you a little Chuck. I'll give you a little Chuck Devil's Advocate here. Well, you know what happens? We get these federal grants that come in. So for $30 million, we get this. Why wouldn't we want to do that?
Yeah, it's economic development. Yeah,
Yes.
I've heard that story. And the end of the day, we're picking winners and losers, and we shouldn't be doing that. We shouldn't be using taxpayer money to fund graduate medical education. And about, I believe, I don't have that number right in front of me, but I think 39% of them leave Pima County after they get that education.
Right.
So we don't even have that guarantee that they're going to stay here in the county and serve our community, yet we're using taxpayer dollars. And, yeah, they are getting some Medicaid funding back from that. However, $15 million could do a whole lot for economic development if we invested that money in roads, which is where it should be going, to improve the looks of this community, to get infrastructure in place, rather than sending people to graduate medical school.
Allison, you have inspired me with something you just said, and I'm just going to let it go. These people that we've been talking about for eons around here, from the old days of Volgi, Ekstrom, Grijalva, to the current days of Ray Carroll, Richard Elias, Ramon Valdez, Sharon Bronson, Karen Ulick, I'm just going to keep going, Rahina, all these people, okay? Their whole political career is based on picking winners and losers.
Oh, I know.
That's everything we've talked about. So when they say, oh, yeah, we know about that rising tide raises all boats, but they're the ones with the torpedoes hitting the ones that aren't their friends. And that's why this community is what it is. And
they're torpedoing the taxpayers every single day. Have you seen these Joe Ferguson memos coming out? Well, it's only getting, for $5 million a year for the roads, it's only a 7-cent per $100 of assessed value increase in your primary rate. For the, for the $1.5 million subsidies, the stadium district, that's only going to increase at 3 cents per $100 of assessed value. Last year, we increased our primary property tax rate by 7.3%. When is it going to end? And you keep pulling this money out of people's pockets, and it gets back to the whole story that Joe was talking about, the retail. We have less and less money to spend. The retailers are going to have less and less business. There's going to be fewer jobs, and it's just a vicious cycle that we keep propagating here by picking the pockets of the taxpayers to fund all of these public entities that we can't afford.
Allie, we're running out of time. I'm going to try to squeeze in 2 calls in a minute, so let's see what happens. Thanks for coming on.
Okay, thank you.
All right, let's go to Roberta on line 4. Roberta, what's going on?
Thank you, three, for all that you do. Allie, I had two questions. First, how much is in the general fund, and why can't that be spent on the roads? And second is Pima Community College. I sit as a member for the Higher Learning Commission probation accreditation on the monitoring report, and what is the role of Pima County Supervisors with PCC?
Thank you, Roberta. Have a good day.
Okay, the first question, the general fund, the balance on the general fund, I couldn't give you that amount right now. The second question, the role of Pima County with Pima Community College. We, as far as I know, we shouldn't have anything going on with Pima Community College. They're a standalone unit, but Pima Community College is a separate taxing district. You will see those separate taxes on your tax bill. And what was the third question?
I think that was it. We got one more to go with Jim on the rezoning. Jim, I got to have a question and an answer in 29 seconds. Go, buddy.
I support your effort to cut spending for the taxpayers, but the reality is this county was run by very pro-development people for many years, and they rezoned everything from A to Z, and we had rapid, explosive growth. My taxes exploded to pay for it. It went from $1,500 to $4,700. You can't have something for nothing. All this new development, it costs. The taxpayers have to pay the bill.
Well, the taxpayers do have to pay the bill, but all of these developers paid impact fees. The developers pay for road impact fees.
Uh-oh, we're running out of time. Jim,
okay.
Thanks for the call. Allie, thank you, dear.
Okay, thank you.
We'll see you soon. Wake Up Tucson. D. Simone Daily Double's coming up. Jerry Bustamante for the